Coming up, Tzu Chi signs a contract with the Hualien County government to help repair schools. Ankylosing spondylitis patient谢良吉donates the proceeds from his autobiography to help quake survivors in Nepal. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. The Tzu Chi Foundation recently signed a contract with the Hualien County government to help repair school buildings and bathrooms in the remote regions of Hualien County. On June 1st, the Hualien County government and representatives from Tzu Chi signed a contract to work together in what is considered the biggest school reconstruction project in Hualien County to date.
In partnership with the Hualien County government, the Tzu Chi Foundation is helping to rebuild 6 schools and revamping the bathrooms of 63 others.
The signing ceremony is a new start for us. This project can help light up the potential of education in Hualien County and help us break new ground.
Although now an international charity organization, the Tzu Chi Foundation has not forgotten its roots in Hualien, as the foundation continues to care for children in the region.
We are very thankful for Tzu Chi's good deeds and that it continues to take care of those living in Hualien County.
It took the Tzu Chi Foundation less than a month's time to survey all the schools and come up with a plan of action to help the schools.
Education cannot wait. We can't let children suffer. There are plenty of areas where we can save money, but we shouldn't skimp on education, because education is the hope of the future for our children. Our most important consideration is the student's safety. The other consideration is that the student should live a healthy lifestyle and learn in a comfortable environment. These 2 factors are very important to us.
To give students a better learning environment at school, the Tzu Chi Foundation will begin construction as quickly as possible. Prior to signing the contract, the Tzu Chi Foundation visited each campus to understand the needs of each school, like Guofeng Junior High School.
This building was built in 1967, and due to long-term ground sinkage, the door frames have sunk. We have already tried to fix this problem on our own.
Hualien County's Guofeng Junior High School was built on farmland. Thus, in the past half-decade of usage, its foundation has sunk approximately 20 centimeters. To ensure the safety of its students, the local government reached out to Tzu Chi for help.
Early on, this entire area was farmland and marsh fields, so many of the buildings now are sitting at an angle. We're very worried about it. We thank the local government for giving us the opportunity to help here in Hualien.
Another school that Tzu Chi is helping is Zhongyuan Primary School, which has no activity center or enough classrooms.
We're very grateful to the Tzu Chi Foundation for helping our school to rebuild and repair our campus. I believe this love from Tzu Chi will reflect in our students' behavior.
Huaren Junior High School also faces the problem of no gymnasium for students to practice in.
When it rains, our students practice for their sport activities in the atrium. Sometimes it's the only place they can train.
This year, the Tzu Chi Foundation is helping 6 schools in Hualien County revamp their campuses and 63 schools to repair their bathrooms. While giving the students a better learning environment, Tzu Chi also hopes the schools, upon completion, can serve as an emergency shelter if the situation ever arises.
72% of Taiwan's terrain is mountain, and there are 268 peaks that rise above 3,000 meters. Every year, 5 million people visit Taiwan's mountains, and that is why there are frequent reports of hikers needing rescue after becoming lost. We now learn more about the hidden dangers of Taiwan's mountains and why mishaps continue to happen, from a couple who lost their beloved son to a hiking accident.
When something goes wrong up in the mountains, people call the fire department. There isn't an agency that handles mountain rescue specifically. However, it's just impossible for firefighters to be able to handle everything.
After what happened at Boaway, we realized that whether it is mountain or sea search and rescue, professional skills and training are required. I think Taiwan needs to establish a proper search and rescue team. To prevent the same tragedy from happening again, Boaway's parents, who were in the children's education business, decided to close down their shop and invest all their efforts in raising wilderness awareness.
The mountain education that we are promoting is about how to conduct yourself properly out in the wilderness. The biggest problem of Taiwan's education now is that students are locked up in classrooms. The mountain education includes safety tips when hiking and how to protect the environment. There are also insights from experienced hikers, which are invaluable.
Director, last year the device that you tested in Taroko is this one from the US. This year I've asked friends in Singapore to test this one. This personal locator beacon can help provide the GPS coordinates of a hiker in case of an emergency. Thanks to Boaway's parents, now hikers can buy or rent such a device or even a satellite phone. Also, cellular signals and coverage in the mountains has improved.
When tourists encounter trouble up in the mountains, having this knowledge and access to these devices is very important. Another cell tower will be installed on the north face of Yushan soon.
Hello!
Having just visited the Yushan National Park Administration Office, Boaway's parents next head for the National Fire Agency Training Center in Zhoushan.
Taiwan is full of mountains and surrounded by seas. You can't prevent people from hiking up a mountain or going to the beach. The reason that we have so many mishaps right now is because people conduct these recreational activities without having the proper knowledge and training.
72% of Taiwan's terrain is mountain. However, Boaway's parents discovered that the country lacks an agency that governs mountain parks. Trails are not clearly labeled or classified according to their difficulty, and there is a lack of a proper mountain search and rescue team or educational program for any level of hiker. Though they have had to sell 2 homes to fund their project, they are determined to continue to raise public awareness on these problems. Though every step has been difficult, when you make up your mind to walk a path, you will have the strength to carry on. I hope Boaway would agree with what we are doing.
Tzuchi's Disaster Relief and Medical Team in Nepal recently held the first blessing ceremony in the Li community in Bhaktapur. On the occasion, in addition to praying for Nepal's recovery from the recent earthquakes, Tzuchi volunteers also shared Master Jengin's teaching on spiritual wealth, which inspired the participants to face the future with optimism. Let's take a look.
In Nepal's Libali tent community, Tzuchi's Disaster Relief and Medical Team gets everything ready and invites residents to come participate in the first Tzuchi blessing ceremony here.
We all follow different religion, but we are same. And there may be different religion, but the meaning is same, I think, to live happily.
A Tibetan Buddhist master is here to give his blessings, where a local doctor volunteers to be the translator. Through the help of a projector, 150 people attending the event learn about enlightenment from Master Chen Yan. Then the popular Tima doctor, Li Xiaoqing, shows off her Nepalese. During the free clinics, Dr. Li has managed to pick up some Nepalese, which impresses the participants. Having enjoyed each other's company, the volunteers hope the participants can take away something from this encounter.
Look at the sky. Even if it's dark, we can light up the sky with the love in our hearts.
lighting up the ceremony venue with the flashlight of their mobile phones. It is as if the darkness that shrouds Nepal will soon be chased away.
A husband and wife pair in Nepal has been appealing to international donors to help with relief operations at the Libali tent community. Despite being quake victims themselves, the couple remains committed to the well-being of other quake survivors, even paying for the water and electricity used by those finding shelter in the tent community.
I'm in the Libali tent community, where 65 families are staying in 35 tents. As Nepal enters its monsoon season, it is beginning to rain here. Let's take a look at what happens after it gets dark.
Inside
the tent, only a thin layer of foam separates inhabitants from the cold ground. According to Nepalese custom, children cannot go outside after it gets dark, even though it is crowded inside the tent, especially since it's raining now. However, this family of 7 consider themselves lucky as they are safe.
When it rains, the water seeps into the tent. When there's strong wind, we need to hold on to the tent poles because the tent could collapse. It's tough here every day.
The tent is so small that they have to take turns to eat. They let the elderly and children eat first. About 2 to 3 people eat at one time, and it takes about 3 to 4 rounds for the family to finish eating dinner.
2 of our family members died in the earthquake. Although we're staying in tents now, as long as we are alive and together, that's all we ask for.
By the end of our interview, the rain stopped. We hope that, like the brief rain, the Nepalese will quickly recover from the pain and sorrow caused by the devastating earthquake.
In Bhaktapur City, Nepal, Jala village looks like it has been bombed. As the houses were not made from cement, the massive quake destroyed 80% of them, and more than 100 people died.
This couple is offering assistance to others with a smile, even though they themselves lost much in the quake. It's truly not easy for them.
Perna Duwal was a reporter who was dispatched to Myanmar by the Government Information Office. After rushing back to Nepal, Perna has been appealing to international aid organizations to help those now living in the Libali tent community. In response to the Duwal's appeal,慈济volunteers distributed supplies to the more than 600 people here who are facing food shortages.
Thank you, Chuchi.
Whether it's temporary helping, whether mattress, whatever, we're gonna figure out a way, okay? You are not alone. We have each other in your heart. You are not alone.
People who live in this camp, they have no more house, and they are very poor people who they cannot construct their house again because of their poverty.
Perna is putting the interest of his fellow countrymen above his own plight. As the government only permits quake survivors a 2-year residence in the tent communities, Perna will need lots of assistance in the month ahead to put their lives back on track.
Continue to provide medical care to those in need in Nepal. Tzuchi's disaster relief and medical team broke them into 2 groups to better home mobile-free clinics in remote farming communities. Each group will visit 3 villages a day to assist residents in getting the health care they need.
Today, the Tzuchi Disaster Relief and Medical Team has arrived in a remote village to hold a free clinic for local residents. Hearing that doctors will be visiting, over 70 patients made an appointment to get their health checked.
From the day earthquake, there was no medical camp over here, so one of our local leader he had asked us to come here and provide the help.
The doctors themselves also treasure this rare opportunity to help.
The residents here are very friendly towards us, although we are strangers. I think this affinity must have come from our past lives. We must have had strong bonds then. Otherwise, why would we have traveled all this way? To continue our friendship.
Friendly and outgoing, the residents expressed their gratitude.
After the checkup was over, the patient very passionately shook my hand in thanks. I'm very moved.
The patient also gave a hug before leaving. Separated into two groups, these city doctors in Nepal plan on visiting 3 remote farming villages per day to help villagers get the health care they need.
In Nepal, thousands of children have returned to class as schools in and around Kathmandu formally reopened over the weekend. However, there are still many schools in remote villages that have yet to resume class. Hence, daycare centers have been established for the quake-affected children who are unable to return to school. Today, we visit a daycare center established by the Nepal Youth Foundation, where children are provided with education, recreation, and psychological counseling to cope with post-earthquake trauma.
I am currently standing here in a small village south of Kathmandu. Behind me is a daycare center that looks after children whose family have been affected by the earthquake. During the daytime, children are taken care of and receive psychological counseling.
Counselors lead children in interactive games. Compared to the rest of the group, Mona and Lisa are the most shy.
Mona, Lisa, they are from the local Bugmati village, and during the earthquake, they lost their houses.
Mona and Lisa's families were displaced by the earthquake and are currently living in tents. As the girls' parents work during the day, they are brought to the daycare center where they will be looked after.
We sing with them, we dance with them. We also talk to them about how they're feeling right now, if they're scared.
Some children are still showing signs of post-traumatic stress disorder.
He's not recovered fully because he's still shocked with, he's mentally shocked with this earthquake. And we also plan to adopt them and continue their education and living until the higher education.
Daycare centers like this are being established across local villages as local foundations and NGOs hope to help these quake-affected children rebuild their dreams and help them become children again.
In our next report, we travel to Jiayi, Taiwan to meet ankylosing spondylitis patient謝良吉, whose curved spine put his life in danger. Thankfully, under the skillful hands of Darling Tsuji Hospital Deputy Superintendent Jian Ruiteng and his medical team, Xie regained the ability to sit up. Recently, Xie published an autobiography which documented the bond between him and the medical team. Furthermore, to pay the love forward, he decided to donate all the proceeds from his books to help quake survivors in Nepal. Expressing his story through a famous Taiwanese song is ankylosing spondylitis patient謝良吉. Xie, who used to play varsity baseball in school, never thought that his life would turn upside down due to ankylosing spondylitis, which caused his spine to curve more than 100 degrees. Despite the challenges life presented him, Xie never gave up.
Mr. Xie's spinal nerves were severely oppressed. A little movement would affect his medulla. After we saved him from the edge of death, we helped him correct his spinal deformity step by step.
The never-give-up spirit of the medical staff gave謝良吉the courage to face his situation anew, while Xie's courage motivated his medical team to try even harder. Xie also published his autobiography in hopes his story can be a lesson for others.
I want to thank Tsuji Hospital and Deputy Superintendent Jian Ruiteng for saving my life. Now I have the chance to contribute my share by holding a book sale fundraiser. Our pain is nothing compared to what Mr. Xie had to go through. We should learn from his courageous spirit and live life to the fullest.
Although no longer able to pitch a baseball, She Liangji will continue to live life to the fullest at his own pace. In our weekly series on young vegetarians, we go to Kaohsiung, Taiwan to meet second grader Liu Yuci. 5 years ago, after learning the importance of respecting all living beings, Yuci and her older sister decided to become vegetarians. To support her daughter's decision, the girl's mother prepares healthy and delicious vegetarian meals for them every day. Let's take a look.
My name is Liu Yuci, and I'm 9 years old. I have been going meatless for 5 years, and I love eating vegetables.
My family and I don't like to dine out, so I cook almost every day. I'll cook different kinds of vegetables for my children and make sure to cut the vegetables that have stronger smells into smaller cubes or slices. I believe parents play an important role in children's eating habits. My daughters will eat any vegetables I cook for them.
I think it is less likely to get sick by going meatless. Eating vegetables can prevent constipation too.
There are a lot of TV shows that promote vegetarian diets as a way to save the planet. I think the TV programs inspire youths to have empathy towards animals.
My mother showed me a video about killing animals for food, and after watching it, I decided to become a vegetarian.
Slowly, my parents realized that it is okay for youths to go vegetarian because her physique has not suffered compared to other children in our community. Before, my father used to ask my daughter if she wants to eat sausage or chicken leg.
I hope everyone can consume less meat and eat more vegetables. If those around me don't want to become a vegetarian, I'll tell them that they will grow as tall as I am if they go meatless.
In the wake of the deadly tremors in Nepal, Tzu volunteers in Malaysia have been canvassing donations on behalf of quake victims. Recently, a group of DaAi mothers organized a donation drive at a kindergarten in Kuala Lumpur to encourage children to contribute what they can to help the Nepalese. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.